everybody, this is Christine Bertram coming to you from Cards by Christine, and it is time for another Tip Tuesday. And today we're going to be talking about adhering vellum cardstock to cardstock and how you do it so that you can't see your adhesive through the vellum. Vellum is like a frosty kind of cardstock, and so you can see a little bit through it. And especially if you're using glue dots or tearing tape or liquid glue, you can see when that glue is underneath the vellum. So you want to be strategic about how you place your adhesive underneath your vellum. So let's flip down so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. The vellum cardstock can be found on page 153 of the current annual catalog. You get a pack of 20 sheets for $10, and they are 8.5 by 11, so they're a normal size sheet. And 20 sheets is a lot. And I remember back in the day, I don't know, many moons ago, they used to sell a vellum cardstock. And it wasn't really cardstock, it was really thin. But this cardstock, it's pretty thick. It's not flimsy so much, it's like cardstock. And you can see what I mean by it's frosty, but you can see a little bit of color underneath it. So I have some card samples that I can show you about what I mean for the vellum. And also, I'm going to show you how I'm going to glue this one. If you guys watched the game night last week, Thursday, Kelly came up with the idea to do adhering vellum while she was watching me do this card right here. So that's what we're going to work on. So let's pull out, what do we want to start? I changed up the color pattern on here. So I brought out my glue dots, my tearing tape, dimensionals, and liquid glue. Those would all be things that I could use to adhere vellum onto cardstock. Now, if you see this, when you emboss vellum, just the vellum is transformed by the embossing folder. So this is the Dandelion Wishes embossing folder, and it just puts this imprint in it, and it's so super cool. And it's just like this frostiness. So when it does that to the paper, it almost makes it so that you would disguise the adhesive if you put that underneath here. So that's what I'm going to do to adhere the vellum. I'm going to put liquid glue underneath those 3 dandelion ball heads. And then I'm also going to look at my card and think, okay, well, I have lots of layers right here from putting twine, ribbon, and a sentiment. And I always like to put the liquid glue or adhesive underneath where it's going to be covered up. So like in this example, I put all my adhesive underneath the vellum in the area that was underneath these flowers and this die, because that's going to be covered up. We'll talk about embellishments in a little bit. There's also this card. We did this one last week, Thursday night, and this was another one where I only put adhesive underneath the area that is covered up. So when you look at this card, this is not being held down at all. And that's okay. This vellum isn't going anywhere. It is very secure and snug to the white paper. And then I further have the ribbon attached, holding the vellum down. The vellum's not going to go anywhere. So that's another example of where I just adhered it. If you felt that you would want to put some adhesive up there, you can. It's no problem. Here's a card that Kelly made for Technique Thursday, a few weeks ago. Maybe it was even more like a month ago. Isn't it crazy how fast this time goes? So in this case, let's pull this guy out. There's a belly band. It gets caught on this little flap here. So she used the vellum. Oh, you can see it. This was exactly what I was going to show you. Can you see this dark rectangle? That's where she put liquid glue. You can see the liquid glue through the vellum, and this is what you're trying to avoid. Now, you really can't avoid that with this. I mean, and ultimately it is the back. You're looking at the front here, which you can't see that at all. And once you put that on the card, again, you won't see it. So we're not too worried about, okay, well, that's there. I mean, the only way you could really avoid that is if you would put another layer around here, another mat, then you wouldn't have seen the glue. So, but that's exactly what I wanted to show you, that it looks like that when you see the glue through the vellum. So let's go back to our card here. So what I would do, now everybody likes their different types of adhesives. I am a liquid glue girl. I like glue dots as well. So it just depends what, some people's hands squeeze out too much glue and they get a hot, sticky, gluey mess, and they stay away from liquid glue, and they use, I'm sorry, here's another one. They could use a tape runner. So all of these will work, and we'll just do a little bit of this. I am not the best at this because I always drag it over and then I have to fix it. Okay, but there's tacky glue there. And then what you could do is we'll use liquid glue here, just a little swirly Jane. And then if you want, we'll show you what the glue dots. And I'm thinking you won't see any of these because of that frostiness of the embossing. Now, I know that there's gonna be some sort of a ribbon or twine there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna guess. At this point, I'm guessing that's where the glue is gonna be, or the ribbon's gonna be. It was about there. And I'm using, so this was Seaside Spray underneath here. Seaside Spray is retiring. So I wanted to show you the difference between Balmy Blue and Seaside Spray. So squish that down really good. As you squish it, you'll start to see the glue kind of disappear. It takes on a little bit of a darker undertone so that you can see that there's a line right there where the glue is. These you really can't even tell. All three of them pretty much look like the dandelion heads. Okay, so that's how I would glue that. You could also use a little bit of tear and tape, but I feel like tear and tape's a lot more work to get little pieces of it, so that's why I went for the glue dots. You could also use dimensionals. Now, I'm just going to show this to you what a dimensional looks like underneath here. So I'm not going to glue it, but you can completely see where that dimensional is. Now, that could be a completely cool look if that's what you're going for, to put like those on a strategic line or whatnot to create a really cool look underneath. And underneath this one, you see that. You would see that dimensional. So you have to be very careful. The only time I would use a dimensional when adhering vellum is when it's going to be covered up. So I don't generally use glue dimensionals a lot when I'm working with vellum. Okay, so now we have this laid down. Then I would take my string, wrap that around, get my tear and tape sandwich in the back, and that's pretty much all I would do. But now if you look at this card right here, this is where I wanted to talk about embellishments. Embellishments can be used to help hide and mask liquid glue or glue dots that you're using. So I say that in this card right here. Let's see if I did it. Oh yeah, nope, I did. No, I didn't. Well, maybe I did over here. Oh, I didn't do it either. I just let it be. So to me, like, this is not adhered down at all. But because that cardstock vellum is so sturdy, you're not gonna worry about that. And I kind of like that loose look of it, that it's just not completely secured down. But this is what I would do if, so you have grab your embellishments. Let's find some that will look really pretty. Here, those are some Balmy Blue crystals, or let's do some diamonds. So this is another great way to keep all your embellishments that you're using. Put them into one of these cases. Now they don't make or sell the big cases, but you can find big cases like this. So what I would do is if I know I'm gonna put, like in this case, there's a little baby dragonfly right there. Now I don't have any of those cut out, but let's say I'm gonna put a diamond on top of here. What I would do is you could put a little dot and a little dot. What do you think? Now, be very, very stringent, not stringent, not using a lot, whatever the word for not using a lot is. Sparse, or not using a lot, because I don't know if you saw what happened is I had a little baby dot and it completely spread out when I squished it down. It just went broop. So you have to be very careful not to use a lot of liquid glue. So you can see there, I've got two dots, one here and one here. So now you can see those dots. So what do? You cover them up with an embellishment. So that's where it's really good to have some embellishments on hand. Like, so we're gonna put that guy right there, and we're gonna put that guy right there. And now you've glued the vellum in a spot where it will help secure it a little bit more. But now you can't see it because you've just covered it up with an embellishment. They always say embellishments fix everything, or rhinestones or ribbon, put a little bow over the top of it. Now you can slightly see that there's a little bit of glue back there. Now, what did we do? That was, I'm trying to remember if that was the liquid glue. That was probably the liquid glue, but it's very not noticeable because of the difference in the blank space where there isn't vellum embossed, it kind of just blends right in. So, and this again will be covered up. So that's what I wanted to go over with liquid glue and dimensionals and tear and tape, mini glue dots, just showing you like how to adhere it to cardstock, or how to adhere it, how to be conspicuous. Again, if I would have put glue all over the back of that, like I would normally do, and put that down, you would see every little line, and you don't. You want it to be nice and smooth and just part of the card, and not like a sore thumb part of the card, if that makes any sense. So all of these are just perfect examples of how, you know, I just adhered the vellum from like in strategic spots so that you won't see it. So that's it for my Tip Tuesday, guys. I hope that you learned a little bit. Stay tuned for Thursday. Kelly is making a card for you that is exquisite. Oh my goodness. It's got flowers on it, but you know what? It's not purple. She used greens and pinks, and she used some of that lovely, polished pink ribbon. Oh my gosh, she left it sit on my desk here for me, and it just, I was like, oh my God, I love it when people leave me beautiful cards on my desk. So I'm excited for you guys to see Thursday's Technique Thursday, and then we'll see you live on Thursday night. We're putting the hydrangea cards together. How exciting. Oh my gosh, woohoo. All right, you guys, lots of sunshine and love and hugs to you. See you later. Bye.